The first few hours of the morning are the most important part of the day, and what you do during these hours will basically dictate how the rest of your day will go. If you wake up with no aim and not sure what to do next, then it won't be a surprise that your whole day, and not only the morning, is going to be unproductive and wasted. Instead, if you wake up with an aim in mind and you have healthy morning rules and routine that you stick to, that will result in a positive, focused frame of mind that will translate to the rest of your day, which will make you much more productive and happy in general. The following are 5 things that we can call rules that I have to stick to in the early hours of the morning after I wake up. By sticking to these rules every single day non-stop, I became much more disciplined, and that made me gain control over my time. These rules simply made my life much more structured, focused, and positive. Making the bed sounds like a very simple task, and yeah, it is very simple, just like all the other rules in this video. But the point is that when you wake up and the first thing you do is productive, which is making your bed, then making other productive decisions throughout the day will become a much easier task, and you will automatically procrastinate less on important things. Spending 30 seconds to make your bed and doing it consistently every single day will have a big ripple effect on your productivity. Many of us are addicted to our phones and screens, and for many people, this addiction can be justified. A lot of people work on the internet, and we need it to acquire information and even to entertain ourselves when we feel a little bored. I use my phone and PC on a daily basis, but a couple of years ago I made the rule that I wouldn't use any screen and the internet for at least an hour or 2 after I wake up, and sticking to this rule made my thoughts so much more clear and more calm. When I used to use my phone directly after waking up to check social media apps or my emails, external information would start to ruin my thought process and actually induce unwanted emotions that would make my brain foggy for the rest of the day. Now when I wake up, I focus on my own thoughts and surroundings, which makes my brain turn on slowly and more naturally, and that keeps me calm and much more focused. I only start to use the internet when I feel like my mood is set and I am fully awake and ready to take in external information. This rule was actually something that I heard on the Huberman Lab podcast, where Andrew went on details about why we shouldn't ingest caffeine after waking up, since our brains need time to actually be awake, and caffeine will interfere with that process and make us crash during the day. Applying this rule felt difficult at the start because I'm dependent on caffeine just like many other people, and I crave it in the morning. But with time, delaying my caffeine intake became easier, and I started to notice the difference in my energy levels during the day. I used to drink 1 or 2 cups of coffee like 20 minutes after waking up, and that made me feel really lethargic after a few hours and wanting to go back to bed. Now I drink my first cup of coffee at least 60 minutes after waking up, and that made my mornings feel less rushed. There was still a noticeable crash that I felt during the day, but it was way less intense than before I followed this rule. This is technically 2 rules that are combined. I have to take a shower every single morning, and if I am not sick, that shower has to be ice cold. So the first part is showering every day, which is self-explanatory. Hygiene is important, and we feel more comfortable and happy when we are in a clean state. We also interact with other people on a daily basis, so it makes sense to shower every day and remain in that clean state. And when I shower, I choose to do it with a very cold water, because being exposed to cold temperatures for about 5 minutes is really uncomfortable, in a good way. Doing uncomfortable things so early in the morning makes me less anxious and less resistant to other uncomfortable situations when they arise. By this rule, I mean that during the morning hours, I won't do any activity that is for pleasure only. No movies, no TV shows, no video games, no social media scrolling, etc. If we spend the mornings on pleasures instead of doing productive things, then most likely we are going to become lazy and waste the rest of the day. I used to wake up and seek pleasurable activities the moment that I opened my eyes, and that made me procrastinate on the important things that I had to do, and I always felt really guilty about that. Now I use the morning to have my healthy and productive habits and to tackle the difficult things that I have to do, and the evening hours for entertainment and winding down. My current frame of mind is that I like to see entertainment as a reward for having a good and productive day. This way I spend most of my energy on things that are important and would push me forward, and the leftovers of my energy go to being absorbed with something entertaining like a good movie or a video game where I can relax. I truly think that the first few hours of the morning are the most important part of the day. If we don't have these few hours structured with some rules that we follow, then we will be passive for the rest of the day and following things mindlessly. But if we structure the morning with some rules and stick with them, we start to become more active and have more power and control over our mindset, decisions, and days overall. Instead of following things mindlessly and letting anything grab our attention, with some structure and control, we become much more conscious and we decide where our attention and focus will go.